It's probably like, the little baby giraffe.
Alright, shut the fuck up.
No. I promise I won't edit this out, except I will. I don't know, man.
I was just gonna keep going and have Giraffe stay out.
Yeah, no, I like the idea of Giraffe stay out, mostly because I think it might have been done already, but I don't know. Giraffes, they get up pretty frequently. Anyway.
I mean...
What?
They get up again.
Did you know that when giraffes give birth, the baby just kind of like falls 6 feet to the ground?
I've heard that.
Yeah, fuck that baby. Welcome to Earth, idiot.
I mean,
How do they not break their necks that way, literally?
Within a couple generations, natural evolution would, like...
Well, how do they not die out in the
Welcome
first
to
generation,
Animal Planet. Not that one.
What if through the course of natural evolution, giraffes form like safety nets in between their legs so the babies fall out of the fucking
just like
webbing?
connecting the 4 legs
Yeah,
or
like,
something?
like,
Gonna do the fucking
Oh
intro.
god.
They all have, like,
Nope, this is the intro now.
They all have, like, the Wolverine metal skeletons because only
Sorry.
the strong survived falling.
Whoa.
I'm really loud, Daniel. You know this.
Yeah. Well, no, because we're all talking at the same time as well. We're all really loud. Yeah.
Alright.
Okay. All right. What?
Get up again.
3, 2, 1.
Silent Coyote.
Witness me back to the Fast and the Furiosa, the only apocalyptic car podcast for real gearheads. Today we're asking the tough questions. Should cars have more than 2 wheels? But
Nope.
first, here's the actual show. And then we're into it.
I mean, the wheels on cars would actually be really interesting.
Here's the thing. I think
One-wheeled cars.
Yeah, one-wheeled cars all the way. Unicars. Anyway,
Yeah.
hey,
The one-wheeled cars of the future are just going to be like the spheres that, like, are almost
Surround
like...
oh, the
you.
diesel spheres. Yeah.
the ones where you sit inside in the suspended cage so the outside can roll, but
Kinda like the
you're
things
still
in
hanging
Jurassic
there.
World.
Dude, think about it though, like unicycle.
exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody can do like sweet tricks on it, and it's like you ride a unicycle,
But
you're
every
cool.
sweet trick is-
Unicar.
They
Every
invented
sweet
the
trick
Uniwheel
is
back
the
in,
same
like,
thing. It's
1927.
spinning in a circle, just like you do the rest of
Anyway,
the time.
I'm Daniel. You know me. Who else I got sitting on this couch right now?
I'm Michael, and I am talking about unicars.
You don't have to say that. You just say your name.
I'm Michael.
Will.
Fuck you.
I'm Will, and yeah, we're talking about unicars today.
I'm
Hey,
well.
Will.
Sorry.
I'm James, and I'm host of the TV reality series Giraffe Stay Out.
Listen, we're trying to make Giraffe Stay Out a thing, all right? And if you don't like that, you can get the hell out of here. How y'all been?
I'm actually host of the adult version, Giraffes Gone Wild.
Oh god.
so-
How many nipples do giraffes even have?
Well, I mean, you know...
We're gonna find out, aren't we?
Well, you know what they say about giraffes having...
Actually, I know. I filmed it.
He's the
You know
cameraman.
what they say about how giraffes have, like, the 16-inch tongues?
Oh god.
Do you know...
Well, this
full
is
wraparound.
already.
They're necking.
You don't even need hands.
You know,
'cause
like-
they can use the tongues as, like, a sheath.
Taper dicks are longer than their bodies, and they use it to scratch themselves. Anyway, who had a week? What's going on with you guys?
I did not.
Oh,
I've
Will.
just been working night shifts this week, and
I'm pretty sure you went through a major life milestone. If you're not willing to share that.
Are you talking about the millions of holes punctured into my left shoulder blade?
I'm
and
talking
filled with
about the
ink?
fact that this asshole comes in, so it's like it's very slick right now, it's very icy. This asshole comes in, he says, "Oh guys, I fell on the ice, I feel bleeding," and then he pulls his shirt up, and what's on your back, Michael?
He literally said, "I feel bleeding."
A giant gross wound. Fuck you. No, a new tattoo.
Oh, it's Michael's first ink, everybody. I'm clapping for you.
Yay!
Woo! All of you people who...
Can you tell us what it is?
No, don't tell anybody.
It's a secret.
Okay.
It's for me to know.
I mean,
and
it
for
has
you to find out.
It has a
if
question
you
mark on
ask
it, so it's fairly
really,
ambiguous.
If you ask
Could be
really
anything.
nicely and maybe buy me a couple of drinks.
And then you do them from behind.
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
ultimately, because this is basically a solely audio medium. I mean, you can describe it as best you can, but don't use any specific things. Just use shapes and vagueness.
There is a square, and in the middle of the square there is a Z. Well, it's a rectangle.
W?
W, yeah.
Z and a question mark.
A perplexion mark.
And if we had a legal team, it would be from a comic book called No, I'm not gonna go there.
Nobody's gonna sue us because nobody's listening to this. You understand?
Johnny the Homicidal Maniac by Jonan Vasquez.
Shout out.
And
to
like,
him.
I don't.
Shout out.
So I don't know how iTunes or Potable do it. I'm not sure if there's literal content ID systems in place for those, but I'm planning to just put an entire Marcel Marceau album up on here and see what happens. Marcel Marceau was a mime. Hate to pull
Dude,
the curtain.
fuck the podcast. Let's just fucking like play all of the albums that we've ever loved ever.
I just had a really good idea. A podcast about mimes for mimes.
Well,
I was just gonna say, can we mime a podcast starting right now?
Okay.
is this going to be like the Game Grumps episode where they...
James, god damn it!
Hey, you said okay after Will said the thing. I was just kind of waiting for us to all deadpan. What were you saying, James?
Yes.
It just reminded me of
that
the
did
Game
not
Grumps
work.
episode where they showed them playing with the controllers and not the screen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That was
Skyward
April
Sword.
Fool's, wasn't it? Oh, I should probably
Yeah.
mention.
Good thing that was a bad game, anyways.
I should probably mention the four of us.
Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
The
Never
four of
played
us
it,
have
but-
a dubious, nefarious, possibly criminal history together, and there is a reason we're all on this couch. And not the fact that we're all good friends or we're all white men and we tend to congregate in groups naturally. No, it's because we are.
We all fucking hate each other, and we're just gonna duke it out on fucking podcast.
Hey, if you
As
want to start
people
beef,
in-
I got beef with every single one of you motherfuckers, and I'm ready to throw down.
I like
Michael,
beef.
you leave the cabinet doors open all the time and don't shit right.
Okay, you got.
Hey, Michael, don't turn the light off in your room when you go out.
That's not
How
that big
did
a
you
deal.
know that?
I don't really care about that. Okay, you. Like I was saying before, I set my events to be a specific time, and I like to use all that time to get shit ready because I had to leave to go do a thing. And James like, I'll be early, I'll be punctual. You're too nice. You're too punctual. Will, you're just too handsome. I don't know.
That's true, I am.
That's a bit of a cop out, but I genuinely don't
World's
have any
most
beef with you.
punchable
Aw.
face.
But
What?
but I like beef. Steak is like my favorite thing.
Yeah. Oh man, that roast beef. Good shit. Good shit.
I'm trying to think of the most events
Mama
that
makes
happened
good
to me
roast
this
beef.
We haven't even said the real fucking thing. We're all okay. We are. When all four of us are in the room together, we are the fucking local Edmonton shit band, the Universe Machine. Everybody.
I hate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about that in any capacity? How we doing with that? How we all been with that so far lately? in
We've just been
2017?
writing songs and
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
Slow, but it's the way she goes.
I'm pretty comfortable with it lately.
Because my part-time job hires new people like every 30 seconds because there's obscene turnover. They're all like, "Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm in a band. Oh, can I hear it?" And I'll throw on like one or two songs every now and then, and they all say the same thing. It's great. I like it, and then they just kind of go back to doing their own thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind
that's how
of
it
how
goes.
Sounds like
everyone.
the Edmonton music scene.
That's
Yeah.
kind of how everyone responds, though, because it's like, if it's actually shit, you're never going to tell anybody that it's shit.
True.
So it's like, oh, that's nice to hear.
Except
Like,
for that one guy who told us that we were lowering the bar for
Oh,
music in
yeah.
Edmonton.
dude, I was so excited about that.
Yeah.
Like, getting your first hate mail kind of means that you've made it in a way.
Well, I mean, just
I mean,
imagine
yeah.
if you're this long-time guy who's been working at your job for many years, and this new guy comes in and he's like, "Oh, what do you do?" And you're like, "I'm in this band." So you put it on for him, and then he's like, "Wow, like you really suck." You don't just say that on your first.
Yeah,
day.
you
Yeah.
have to work with these people. They're like, "Oh, fuck this guy." Nah, not my thing. Put that shit away, lady. I did kind of do a variable of that to the one guy though, because there was this one really annoying guy at my day job, not my part-time job, and he walked into the break room, started playing music on his phone, and he's like, "You like this ringtone?" And it was just a remix of the fucking iTunes like default iPhone ringtone. He's like, "I made this," and I'm like, "Okay." Whatever you say. He also put a really
Do you mean
shitty.
like the marimba one?
No, you know, like the.
No, it's the Skype one.
Wait, that's a alarm clock. I don't fucking know what any of these.
Du-du-du-du-du-du-du-du-du.
I mean, if it. No, this sucks for audio.
Well, yeah.
The default
there you
iPhone,
go.
the default iPhone ringtone, and it's shit, and I hate it, and I don't know.
Did he make it worse?
I don't. He didn't sound any different. I think he just added some drum and bass beat to the background.
You know what? Okay, I've worked the same job, like in the same store, anyways, for almost 10 years now. For most of that time, I've been telling people I'm in a band because I have been. Every once in a while, they'll be like, "Hey, how's your band doing?" And I'm like,
Why don't
"Same
you-
as it was when you asked 2 years ago."
I mean, my
Pretty
parents
much.
do that,
Sorry.
so my parents will be like, "So you still in the band?" And I'll be like, "Yep." And they're like, "Doing any shows?" And I'll be like, "Yep, if we are." And otherwise, I'll be like,
Nope.
"Sometime."
Yo,
And then
so
they'll be
yeah.
like, "Cool, not bring it up again or ever." You know.
how's your band doing? Why don't you fucking come out to a show and see, motherfucker?
Yeah, true that.
Yeah.
They're mostly old people where I work, though, so.
I do post on the bulletin boards every time I have a show, and you get the people saying, "Oh, where is it?" Even though I write down where it is on the thing. "When is it?" Oh, even though I write down when it is on the thing, and then they're like, "Great, I'll be there," and then they aren't there.
They
and
are not there.
You show up at work the next day, you're like, "Oh, and then how was the show?" I'm like, "Well, And I try to make up something really elaborate, except for that one time when the T-Rex costume did show up, and that was not a thing I made up. There were pictures.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Certain people tried to get with the T-Rex costume.
I was just about to say that.
Well, don't be saying nothing too incriminating.
Yeah.
His name rhymes with Blandy Brophy.
Okay. Well, all right then. All right.
You
well,
might want to edit that.
Yeah,
out.
I'm gonna put a big old black censor bar over this big swinging dick.
Not
that big.
Week, so what's up?
Nothing with me. I've been playing more Injustice 2. God damn, that game is really stupid, but in a good way.
It looks pretty. That's for sure.
Fuck, the face tech in that game is scary in how it's so good and then it's so uncanny valley in some places. But and it has the weird thing.
As bad as the face tech in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Well, it's hard to have face tech when your faces don't move. I will say this, Marvel.
That's advanced tech, man.
Here.
Hey, listen, man, Marvel's.
This isn't your everyday ordinary tech. This is.
I'm not going to shill for
tech.
Marvel Infinite. They're charging too much money for doing too little, but man, that game does play good. Injustice plays good too, but. So, NetherRealm, they make the Mortal Kombat games, and Mortal Kombat is weird. You have 4 buttons, and you have a block button, and which is uncommon in fighting games. Injustice doesn't have the block button, it has the hold away to block thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a real, legitimate fighting game in a way. I say that to piss off Smash Brothers fans. Basically, it's weird in that it feels good to play, but then it's
Smash Brothers is a legitimate fighting game?
Depends on who you ask. It's a raging debate going on in the fight game scene. But basically, Injustice feels weird in that it's good, but the characters, I look at these characters and I see who the fuck is Blue Beetle? Who the fuck is... I mean, I know who Green Arrow is. Who the fuck is all these characters? And I'm glad they went for this kind of weird, obscure pull for Injustice 2.
Ray Schremer did a song about that.
Who the fuck is Blue Beetle?
No, never mind. That's Black Beatles.
Okay, there we go. Fucking Ninja Turtles are going to show up in this game. They're part of the next
heard
DLC
that.
pack.
There was the Ninja Turtles Smash spinoff. TMNT Smash 'em Up.
Yeah, the one that Sakurai did work on. Yeah, because there's been a lot of actual fucking Smash style Ninja Turtles
Wait,
games.
Sakurai worked on something?
Notable hard worker Masahiro Sakurai working on things.
Yeah.
He made a Ninja Turtles game, but also Ninja Turtles, Hellboy, and Sub-Zero and Raiden are all in the
Did
fucking
his wife
Injustice
do the
game.
menus?
Actually, probably. I've not played it firsthand, but it might look like every other Smash Brothers game.
Sorry,
Also,
I'm being way too snarky about Sakurai.
He's a good Sakurai had good games, damn it. Like the GameCube. And maybe
The entire GameCube.
the GameCube it was Jesus' portable console of choice. It had a handle.
Dude, GameCube
Yeah.
was the fucking best.
It was an awesome
It's
system.
like everyone's like, oh, N64 was like the best age of video gaming, and I'm like, dude,
Objectively
have you fucking played GameCube?
You guys
Have you seen the controllers for N64?
It
Really?
was like a 3-pronged dick. It doesn't work.
You guys are talking about all this nostalgia when I'm sitting here. The first real game console I ever had was a Wii. I didn't play games in the N64 or GameCube era, so...
But then again, there's a list of all of the people who can play with your Wii. Your girlfriend can play with your Wii.
Can Barack
your
Obama
family
play with the
can
Wii?
play with your Wii. Your mom, your dad, your cousins.
Apparently, when I was 4,
was
I almost
terrible.
choked
I'm so
myself out with a
sorry.
ColecoVision controller. So that's, I think, my first exposure to video games. Oh, shit, yes.
Didn't we have a couple of topics that were based around video games?
Well, eventually.
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 We still haven't asked 2 people our days.
Yeah, I was gonna cap it off my week. So other than working 2 jobs, I threw my back out real good.
Oh no.
And I feel like I have to up.
So good.
My life is in desperate need of a very drastic overhaul, and that my posture is failing, and I'm probably going to die in the next 3 weeks or so.
I've started doing yoga a couple days ago.
I want to do
Loser.
something. I want to
Yeah.
do something because I need physical training. I need physical therapy because I'm going to die
Well,
if I don't do this.
I probably won't, but originally I was gonna go bouldering tomorrow. But sometime we should do that because I
do love
It's like in bouldering.
No, bowling.
Oh,
well,
you're
bowling.
making a joke.
I like
sorry.
bouldering and bowling.
The yoga, the yoga's something I might start doing too. So.
Yeah. Well, I have access to this series of videos for on. I know
No, I'm not
workout
laughing.
videos
I'm not
are so
laughing.
Talk
stupid.
about what I did for my lower back, because then I'll just sound like a douchebag.
I'm not. I'll tell you what, Will. I actually don't know why I'm laughing because it's not the fact that you have access to the videos, and it's not the videos themselves. Because I've heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm doing a lot of online physical fitness, and I lost 20 pounds." I'm like, "Oh, that's great, so it works."
Yeah.
I don't know why I laughed. I think it might have been like a reflexive response.
But you know what? It sounds like a silly thing, as most people think like 80s dance stuff when
I
they think
do
of
think
workout
that.
videos.
I was thinking of Billy Blanks.
Exactly.
Richard
So,
Simmons.
Richard Simmons.
That guy looks like a cauliflower. Have you ever seen that movie? Yeah.
Oh
Bob
god.
Ross also kind of looks like a cauliflower.
I gotta air some laundry about the time I ruined someone's life about Bob Ross. So I work with a coworker, and he loved Bob Ross. He loved Bob Ross so much, and he didn't know Bob Ross was dead. So I kind of had to fill him in on that. He also,
In your defense, how do you not know that Bob Ross is...
died before we were born.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The thing with that,
He's
there
dead
was,
since the 90s, man.
I guess with a lot of those people who didn't, I'm not saying he died young, but he died younger than expectation.
That's true.
It's you don't necessarily think about it. Like I was probably almost in high school when I found out that Kurt Cobain's dead, which now seems obvious, but at the time it's like, oh, these people I see about them, they're celebrities. I just assume they're alive until I hear otherwise.
You're just like, oh, they
Actually,
made
it's
music,
funny
now
you
they
should
don't.
mention that because I was just about to use as an example, like, who the fuck doesn't know Kurt Cobain's dead?
Honestly, like in the years from like 2000 to like 2010, Jerry Seinfeld could have been dead and no one would have noticed. That guy went into hiding.
So if any of you guys know the TV show Sliders, there's always going to be that one alternate dimension where Nirvana's still around and kicking, releasing their annual Christmas albums.
I want Nirvana to end up like Metallica.
Actually, though, like, did you hear?
How would that
like,
happen?
Badly.
the South Park episode where they got Kurt Cobain as a hologram to play up on the rooftop?
Wasn't there a thing like with it was a Guitar Hero spinoff, and they sued the estate of Kurt Cobain because he failed to show up and promote the game for something. Was that not a thing that happened?
What?
I gotta look this up right now because I have the ability to do this.
There was a few different lawsuits with that one. Like I know they also gave them shit over Johnny Cash's likeness appearing, claiming that I think it was Johnny Cash.
This
Also, I
is
just
the
knocked
opposite.
the
This is
mic
not like
with
the
my
estate of
knee, so
Cobain
that
saying, "Why
was-
did you put him in the game?" It's EA saying, "Why did Kurt Cobain not show up to promote our game?" Which I think might be false. I'm
That
not sure.
seems like it would probably be false. Maybe
fact checking will ruin this podcast.
or like half true. Maybe. Speaking of Seinfeld,
What? Yeah.
not to be
Dun, dun,
speaking. I only recently found out that theme song was not actually originally played on bass.
It was totally falsified.
It was totally synthesized. I saw a video of the guy who originally performed it.
Really?
And yeah, he was like,
No. Lindsay just so Lindsay is here now. Lindsay just opened a can of Pepsi right by the microphone.
Beppis.
time.
Beppis. She opened a Beepus.
Yeah, that could. Not that I really liked that show to begin with, but that.
I enjoy Seinfeld. I don't think it's the be all end all, but I think it's funny. Hey, you shut up, man. It's just bad. It's always sunny for old people. It's just bad people doing bad things.
I never watched Always Sunny in Philadelphia either, so go figure. Just not my kind of thing.
But again, if you like the idea of a bunch of people doing shitty things to shitty people and facing very narrow repercussions, Always Sunny is basically for you. I like the episode where they ruin a immigrant family's house and then try to fix it for them, and then I think they burn the house down. I think is the
So
end
it's
of the
like
episode.
every late '90s sitcom.
Fuck, Sunny's been around for a long time. I think it's in like season 13 or something.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I can't find nothing about this Kurt Cobain thing, so I'm gonna stop looking because I'm lazy. I won't look up how long Always Sunny's been on the air. Also, yeah.
How's your week been?
Going back to me, huh?
Yep.
Did anybody else on this goddamn bitch of an earth have a
Well,
week?
Mike.
I have stuff, but
I got some fillings yesterday.
Oh,
Oh, fine.
That sucked.
You been eating too much candy?
I guess.
You know what, Will, though? I got my first fillings maybe 6 months or a year ago now, and this is going to sound really bad because I shouldn't endorse poor tooth health, but I actually really enjoy it.
Having the
Like-
fillings?
What?
Like, I didn't enjoy having the fillings, but going there and having the surgery and seeing what they were doing while they did all the stuff, I thought was actually really interesting and cool to watch. So I actually had a great time.
Okay.
Y'all have like a weird response that triggers when you smell your own teeth burning in your mouth when they drill into it. Just me?
I did notice it, but what I more thought was like, you know how you see the little bits kind of fly after the drilling?
Can we
Yeah,
just
and
take
you
a
just
moment to
kinda know.
appreciate how terrifying the phrase "smell your own teeth burning" sounds?
And you just kind of know that that's like little bits of your teeth, and then some of it landed on my glasses, and
Yeah.
I'm like, that's bits of my
No, that's
teeth.
the worst.
Michael.
When you swallow it, you swallow the bits of your teeth chunk, and you're like, oh.
I don't think I noticed that.
No,
Uh-huh.
I hate
This is
it.
going to be the...
But here's the funny part of that story. Afterwards, I was meeting my wife on the university
My
campus.
life.
Yeah. I was meeting her on the
Good boy
university
reference.
campus. And while I was waiting for her there, a couple of ESL students came up to me. They had some questions to ask for a project they were doing. And my first thought was, oh no, you are not going to get an accurate representation of the English language from this, because, you know, my teeth are still frozen and swollen and stuff. They thought my name was spelled W-Y-L-L at first.
I'm
But
just
here's the
imagining
kicker.
how that went right now. Like, how's your day going?
So Michael,
I'm gonna replace that with a bunch of duck noises.
Look at
if
the
you don't mind.
capture.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
I'm really sorry
I'm
about
taking
that.
Okay,
all of that out
here's
and I'm
the
replacing
kicker.
it with 1995's hit album. I don't have a joke. I don't have a joke prepared. What were you gonna do?
so like the thing with what Michael was saying though is like the new. I'm imagining this is like the new trend in horror movies where like you're asleep in your bed and you wake up to like the smell of your teeth burning, and there's just like a pile of all of your teeth on the ground burning, and you're only gums. And it's some like new type of like demon archetype, kind of like Krampus or something. Who just like
No.
it's the reverse tooth fairy.
I was gonna say it's like a tooth fairy thing, and it gets naughty children who don't put the tooth under their
The-
pillow or something.
the
We've
kicker
killed
was-
20 minutes without going into any of the actual topics.
Yeah, well, we said it was gonna be like 1.5 hours, so
Fair
The
enough.
kicker was afterwards they wanted a picture with me, and I could barely smile.
Wild.
Cheese. Cheese.
Everybody,
A little bit like
the
that,
people like
yeah.
caption the newspaper. Here stands Wild Brophy, like 8th generation Canadian citizen.
My name is Wild Rover.
So-
I just had dental work done.
It wasn't
I can't
quite
speak
that bad.
English good right now. Okay.
Yeah, that class is not gonna get an accurate representation of
Rough.
English, so
You
that's
fucked
okay.
up.
I mean, sounds like a good week.
It was okay. Michael, what did you do this week?
Well, I started. Well, fuck. Please edit that out. That is
Nope.
comedy poison right
Never,
there.
never. I'm gonna make the breaks longer and
I-
more awkward.
So
Just like insert like not total silence, but like there's that one scene in Breaking Bad where they're awkwardly eating dinner and the mom's pissed because he's like the meth dealer. So there's like the casual rustling and like cutlery sounds and
Shifting
stuff.
people
But
like
yes,
put in a couple of crickets. We're good.
I will
Anyways,
add
it's like the sound of awkward dinners, but
audible
not silence.
silence. So loud.
Maybe with just like a bit of chewing, just to get the.
that one.
Yeah. Thanks, James. Yeah. So anyway, I'm a lifeguard by trade right now, and the pool that I work at is having some work done overnight. So as part of the contractor's safety regulations, I've had to do some overnight shifts, and this is the first time I've ever had to work graveyard. And
I have a question, kind of not relating to anything whatsoever. This is
Yeah, of
totally
course.
not relating to anything in the topic.
Absolutely.
Hey, hypothetically, is West Edmonton Mall water park still the largest indoor water park in the world? Or in North
That's a
America?
good
in
question.
North America, yeah.
Okay, just checking. Not having anything to do with the conversation.
I
Keep
don't-
going.
You might want to bleep that out because I don't want to know, or I
See, I was being coy by implying that you don't work at insert name of place here.
Well, as far as I do know, the biggest one now is in Germany. They've got one of those cool ones with like the indoor trees and stuff. It's basically a glass dome.
I've
over
seen
a-
some
over
from
a park.
China that look pretty extravagant.
Yeah.
That looks
Yeah.
weird. Anyway,
Yeah.
go on about this over.
either way, it's been an adventure, and there's definitely something that makes you feel like a bit of a fuck up when you're driving home and all of the radio morning shows are going on.
Well,
Do they keep the soft drink machines on while you're on
No.
that shift? Oh god, that's awful.
Ugh.
That's a curse.
that's the worst.
It's a war crime. I stole your joke and you can't take it back because no one knows you exist.
That's okay. I'm the only reason you're funny.
Oh.
Oh.
Shout
I'm
out
like-
to Lindsay
I mean, come to
Stevens,
think of
the
it, you
only
weren't-
reason Daniel's funny.
I'm glad that's isolated enough
Come
that
to
I can.
think of it, you weren't funny before.
See, I'm glad that's isolated enough I can add you
Shit.
into that and make sure everyone hears that. Hey, what's going on? I love you too. Okay. Anyway, going back to the fucking tooth fairy thing, I'm reminded of this fucking scene from what the fuck is it called? The
Tooth Fairy?
No, Sherlock Holmes, where a guy is in a bathtub. And the bathtub turns to boiling water, and he doesn't get out. He just sits in it and lets him boil it alive. So I'm thinking, like, if your teeth just kind of started boiling, you couldn't pull them out unless they were like dentures or whatever.
Why are we talking about this?
Because think about this in the context. Why are you staring at me? Get out of here. Think about this in the context of like your teeth are like burning, or like a demon makes your clothes burn. You know, just take your clothes off, can't take your teeth out, but you're just in a tub, and the tub starts boiling.
It's
like, oh, I
getting
can't get...
hot in here, so pull out all your teeth. I am getting so hot.
watched,
I want to
Michael.
pull my teeth
I watched the
out.
Saw series recently, actually, and in
Carrie Elwes.
yes,
He's the guy from Princess Bride. He was in the first Saw movie, and I think he's in the most recent Saw movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Carrie, who did you play?
He was Wesley. And he was Robin
Oh,
Hood.
yeah,
He was Robin
he
Hood,
played the
Robin Hood Men in
doctor,
Tights.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Carrie
okay,
Elwes.
yeah, he was in the last one too. But one of the
Okay.
guys, he had to like pull his teeth out because the code was
Oh.
engraved in the back of his tooth or something.
How do you...
That's
How...
like some National Treasure ass bullshit.
National Treasure's the true Saw movie.
Yeah.
I mean, anything with Nicolas Cage is kind of like torture, so...
We need to pull out a
Zing.
teeth to steal the Declaration of Independence.
We gotta... George Washington's wooden teeth!
Michael, you actually reminded
There's a
me-
joke there somewhere.
You
I'm not
reminded
sure
me
what
of
it is
a
right now.
really cringy
I didn't get it.
high school memory when the way you said that one thing actually. When you're like, why are we talking about this?
I'm so glad that I remind you of everything we cringed at about us in
Just
high
hear me out,
school.
man. So
Fuck you.
there's been exactly one time in my life where I've used the phrase "Why are we talking about this?" Where I'm in computing class in like grade 10. It's not like programming, but like the one where we learn how to use like Excel and stuff.
Right.
And I'm talking with this guy in the class whose name I'll leave out for, the sake of editing.
What does it rhyme with? And Daniel, you can bleep this
No, okay,
out.
hold on. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, I gotta give you guys, like, you gave me way too much credit. I do not fucking edit this shit. So I will pay more attention because there is some stuff in here that does need to come out. But
It rhymes with Krillin.
I love Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
So
I got nothing.
I'm sitting here and this guy.
Villain.
I don't remember why this came up, but we're talking about like how concrete was made, and we were talking about the difference between like
I know a lot about concrete. Go on.
what's the other thing that's like concrete? It's like concrete and like
Cement.
yeah, cement. So he's telling me about the differences between concrete and cement, and the teacher comes up to talk to me about something, and I'm still listening to him, but I turned to look at her because she tried to get my attention, and I meant to talk to this Krillin guy, and I'm just like, why are we
This Krillin guy
So I'm just like, why?
shaves his head, wears a fucking Master Roshi uniform.
So I'm facing her, but I'm still trying to talk to him. And I'm just like, excuse me, why are we having this conversation? And she thinks I'm talking directly at her. So all of a sudden, the teacher gets like super quiet. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. And just like leaves. Like she just feels super bad because she thought I was like roasting her out.
no.
Oh.
I remember. Oh god.
Another time, Michael, we gotta talk about our weeks.
Okay.
Tell me more about
I'll
your
tell you
week.
about my week. Holy shit! On my day job,
You
I
pulled your back out?
no. Well, yes, but also okay, talking about the cement thing. Holy shit! Did you know if you use a water pump for cement, it doesn't work good? Sorry,
That's good
I was
to
dealing with a bunch
know.
of submersible pumps that were all basically caked in concrete and cement all week. Also, did you know that if you add a pound of sugar to a ton of cement, it ruins the whole
I've heard
batch?
that.
Yeah.
How does it do that?
I don't know. Chemicals. Bottom line, if you want to,
It
just-
was a chemical romance. If you made it yourself,
Hey,
you could
listen,
say it
I'm
is
not
my
saying-
chemical romance.
I'm not saying we gotta dismantle the prison institution from the inside out, but if you're building a prison and you want to just fuck that thing up in 2 to 3 years, just
They're
put
trying
some,
to build a prison.
Put some, but you would make a living.
And just in that, we covered about a decade's worth of shitty high school music.
Yeah.
Hey man, I still like my system.
Hey now, you're an
What's
all-star.
up, James? Give me a week.
The most eventful thing that happened to me this week, and it depresses me that I have to even like think that this happens in our modern day and age with technology. Black Friday.
Oh yeah.
I almost never do anything for Black Friday, but when I do, I always plan out what I want to get. I just want to go shopping.
Yes,
It's like I
shop
want
smart.
to go because I'm looking for something. So I'm moving into my own place soon, and like besides this like 1980 CRT I have, I don't actually have a TV. So like I'm getting my own place. I need a TV. I'm thinking to move in like a month. So I got a good deal on a TV actually. I went and bought a TV, and I have pictures of this. I have proof that this wasn't me.
Oh.
I set up the TV, totally fine. I have a picture of it the day I set it up, and it's fine. Came down to use the TV the next day, and the screen was cracked.
What? Huh?
Shit.
Yeah.
Huh?
So
Bandits?
obviously, the ghosts in the basement, or the ghosts of Christmas
Yeah.
past, the ghosts of Black Friday past.
Were you able to? All the people got trampled when the doors opened. They
Yeah.
specifically.
Where I'm going is I did get a new TV. They were actually really good about it. I took the TV and I'm like, this happened, and they're like, okay. But the entire time I was in the line at Best Buy, they were just like on loop playing the Alvin and the Chipmunks Christmas album, and I have to think about like where I'm going with this is like what kind of toll must Christmas music have? The United States, the thing, though, like the United States has Thanksgiving as a buffer because in Canada we have Thanksgiving in October. Think of theirs in November. We don't have this buffer. I went to Tim Hortons on November 1st. They were playing Christmas music. We have no buffer between Halloween and Christmas.
Apparently in Cold Lake, because Cold Lake is a military town, if you put up your Christmas decorations before November 11th, you will get a big old earful from the old people.
Yeah. That's kind of a thing that people are using a lot.
I feel like if you put up your Christmas decorations before like last week of November, you should basically be shot dead on sight.
I will say. Oh, go ahead.
I work at a grocery store. We started playing the Christmas music about last week, and that was no fun.
I will say,
I mean, still, it's no fun.
Yeah,
it will be no fun until the end of the month.
When I worked in retail and had to listen to public radio, I totally missed the entire holiday season by basically I got in March and got out in October, and I fucking nailed it.
Nice. But yeah, if anyone out there is starting to work at a grocery store or works at a grocery store and doesn't know this somehow, volunteer to work on Boxing Day, because those sales last a week or two anyways, and there is no one in grocery stores on Boxing Day.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah, nobody. Well, everyone has their leftovers. No one wants to shop that day anyways,
that's true.
If they're out shopping, they're out shopping for fun stuff.
Further public service announcement.
Also,
sorry, for
can I
restaurants.
just make a point?
Well, everyone wants to make a point at the same time. Listen right away. You do, I guess.
Speaking as somebody
He's in
who
the big truck.
works in a tourist attraction that shall remain nameless.
It's a mini golf course, everybody. Go on.
Shut up.
With the pool.
Yeah, I lifeguard. Fuck you. I lifeguard at a fucking mini golf course.
Hey, listen, those water hazards are deadly, man. They need a lifeguard on all
Dude, all the
times.
kids trying to go in there and get the balls out, they drown once a week.
Anyway, working.
He's bad at his job.
Working at said tourist attraction, which may or may not exist in a mall on Boxing Day, is pretty fucking awesome because everybody is just distracted by shopping.
You didn't even work last Boxing Day, though. I know, because I went to the mall with you.
I worked that.
Oh, you worked that evening, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all want another sick public service announcement? The
Yeah.
restaurant industry, the entire week of Christmas, fucking dead zone.
Well,
But yeah, like,
Cool.
we'll put it this way.
So as long as
'cause
you
it's
don't work in retail, that week is great.
Yeah, our hearts go out to the poor damned souls in retail
No,
working
actually,
Boxing Week.
Christmas Eve, the 23rd and the 24th, at a grocery store, fucking worse.
Yeah, that sounds like it's not worth the 26th being a
It's
big
But yeah,
old
like,
day.
Christmas Eve, though.
If you can avoid Christmas Eve though, and then work Boxing Day, you are made.
What about New Year's?
Both me and Will's wife, we actually, our family thing is we go to movies on Christmas Eve.
Her name
It's
is
one of the
Crystal.
quietest days of the year.
I've been doing movies too, yeah, lately.
But,
for Christmas.
You were running with,
Shout out to Crystal Brophy.
with
we?
the whole...
Yeah, okay, I
With
approve.
the whole
I approve.
Christmas thing, though, like, I was just remembering how one of our friends is a violin teacher. She had people complaining that she didn't have a Black Friday sale. And
I
it's-
saw
And
that.
it's like, why would you go to a grocery store on Boxing Day? Why would you ask a music teacher if they have a Black Friday sale?
Wait, what? Like your skills to teach my student, you need to teach my child at a discount on this specific day of this specific time of the year.
Anywho, Daniel,
Yo,
now that we've done our preamble, what is the first?
Why are you trying to get through this so quickly, man? What's your game here? You got somewhere to be?
I'm not. It's just we've been like.
Because
I'm anticipating a long enough discussion over.
I'll tell you what, I had a pretty good
No, we're just
segue.
all going to be like, yeah, that sounds good after Daniel reads the prompt, and then it'll be done right away.
Well, I mean, the first thing I'm going to intro with is not
exactly.
like the first thing I'm
Let's
going to
just
intro with
fucking go.
is not a particularly long topic of conversation. I had a really good segue, and I refused to do it because this conversation was flowing naturally. God damn it! And I'm being yes and.
So Daniel, what
did
conversation
that,
do we
Michael.
need to go to give you the segue you want?
Well, much like we have teamed up to form the Edmonton's shittiest band, this group of shitty people in costumes has teamed up to deliver another goddamn fucking Marvel movie, everybody. It's the
Yay.
Avengers Infinity War trailer, came out this week.
Yeah, it's a good trailer.
I don't know if I
still haven't
I
seen
agree
it
and I
yet.
don't agree with you, Will. On the one hand, I actually don't think the trailer showed very much at all.
Well,
but on the other hand, I like that.
I mean,
'cause
yeah,
go to
exactly.
Dude opening some curtains.
Now,
But
like I
I
will
mean,
say
having
this.
seen
it's
most of
Benedict Cumberbattle.
That was the vision. That was vision.
That's totally the guy.
So James,
Shut up.
to your point, I love how like the Force Awakens trailer and like even now the Last Jedi trailer, I don't know fucking shit all about that movie, and I like that. Even the most recent trailer,
Yeah.
I have no idea what the goddamn movie's
I
about.
hate the world we live in where now oh, you know, this person's cast as this character. Well, I didn't want to know that. I wanted that character to be a surprise altogether.
Yeah,
There's so much stuff coming out of studios.
Have you seen Kingsman? Like either of
I
them?
saw the first Kingsman.
First one was good.
I saw the second one just last night. There's that one character that dies in the first one.
Yeah.
It's in the trailer, so I'm not going to give anything away by this. That character who gets shot in the eye comes back in the second movie.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I thought that was a pretty good resolution of that character's arc, all things considered. But I mean,
Yeah, but
I like that guy.
He
enough.
comes back, but the fact that that was in the trailer kind of makes the whole movie fall flat. You know what I mean?
I get that, and much the same way people were upset they found out that Spider-Man was in Civil War.
Well, I think of it.
through a trailer?
I've seen a meme that makes Thanos look like Homer Simpson, and I can't unsee that.
I saw one that makes him look like Stone Cold Steve Austin drinking a beer, and I'm like, oh my god.
I've seen it too. It made me
You guys
laugh.
seen the new line of Kirby figures with the huge
The
chins?
big chins.
What?
Yeah, no, oh
throw
god.
a picture
Yeah,
of it.
fuck
Search,
this. Fuck
the-
Avengers. Goodbye, Avengers.
They're called Shakurel is
Yeah.
the name of the figure. And basically it's this art company that previously was doing just like animals with big chins for some reason. And all of a sudden they've decided to do Kirby. It's
Yeah, how to spell
like
that?
Shakurel.
Okay, I'd see into the ace.
Yeah, they used to just do animals, but for some reason they're doing Kirby, and like Wispy Woods the tree for some reason has this huge jaw.
What?
These are real. I saw this and I thought these were fake, and I was blown away. But these are actually a real.
Oh, I love it so much.
That's what I was just thinking of
They
too.
fucking made the
So
tree.
the reason I'm bringing this up is because I saw a picture
Can
that
they do
showed.
a Crimson Chin version where he has an even bigger chin?
I saw this picture though where it had Kirby next
And
to
it's
Thanos.
also Kirby.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Hey, if Kirby absorbed Thanos, what would his power be?
Is that real though? Where they all have
That's real, dog.
Yes, I thought it was fake because it's not my style of art, and I looked it up and it's 100% real. If you look up Shakurels, there's tons of other ones.
See, that's just. I mean, listen. That's what peak male body physique is like. You may not like it, but
That's peak performance.
that's peak performance.
Yeah.
Is what there is. Speaking of peak performance, you know what you won't get peak performance out of if you spend a lot of time grinding?
Destiny 2?
Destiny 2 experience, people. All right, so let me set the scene here. Well, I clicked a hyperlink by accident. Whoops.
No, what about that XP update link that we were reading about?
Oh, is this a new thing, or is that the thing I just clicked by
This thing
accident?
just clicked.
Oh yeah, that was a total mistake.
No, let's ignore the article Daniel actually picked and read the article he accidentally
All right.
clicked.
So in the briefest summary of this, basically an astute Destiny player found out by measuring pixels that after playing the game a long enough time, the amount of experience they were getting back for certain things was lessened almost to the point where like the returns were down maybe 50 to 100% on
It's 95%.
95%,
the highest
yes.
number. Yeah.
Yes. And so basically, this is not an uncommon thing in MMOs. There is a system wherein you play longer, you get less experience. However, this is the first time where the game outright lies to you because it tells you you're getting the numbers.
Yeah.
The numbers are staying the same, but the amount of experience you're getting is in fact lessened. And I threw the thing up here. This is far too small for me to read this far away because the resolution of the
Likewise.
computer is just way too big.
Oh, you want me to read it?
And if you can read it, please go ahead. You just summarize, paraphrase if you can.
After Bungie said Destiny 2's controversial XP scaling system would be deactivated effective immediately, the community testing suggests that it now takes twice as long to level. So I did read through this. Basically, they've now, in order to compensate for the scaling, they increased the amount of XP you need, but they didn't update the XP bar again. So it's still telling you it's not showing you honestly the amount you need, where it gets almost to the end and then just stalls out until you get the level.
Oh, that's what they mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motherfucking video games at it again. We gotta kill this industry.
Yeah.
Where this
We're millennials. We have the power.
when I read this, and what this made me think of is just like the scaling the XP and all that. It comes down to like I guess the freedom and knowledge kind of thing. The thing it reminded me of is not this new Realm Reborn stuff, but when like Final Fantasy XIV was in the planning and the beta and that kind of stuff, they implemented a system where you could play as much as you wanted, but you would get 0 XP after you played more than 8 hours a week, I think it was.
Wow.
And it's like people do this kind of stuff to relax and as downtime and that.
Yeah, it's a
and
hobby.
I guess just like taking away the rewards or being dishonest or just like it feels like incriminating freedom to me. If they'd been upfront
Yeah.
about the scaling, then maybe I wouldn't be saying
That's
that.
the whole
like,
thing. The lack of transparency basically is like, all right, we're lying to you straight up, and you've been wasting your time. It's kind of shitty, and it's
like,
So
I have
what
my
was it
precious
like
time to-
before this again? Like I've never played Destiny. What was it like before
so
that?
basically you would play the game for long periods of time. Say you shot 2 monsters in the head, you get 500 experience back.
Yeah.
Play like 10 hours later, shoot those same 2 monsters, you get like 25 experience back, and the number would still say 500.
But before that.
Oh,
Well, that was the launch. Destiny
Yeah.
2 is a very new game.
yeah.
Oh,
so that's just
okay.
how it's been since day one.
Oh,
Destiny
I
2's maybe
see.
been out since September, I think.
The PC version came out last month, but the
Yeah.
console versions have been out since September. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And yeah, it's. I mean, I have a lot of good faith towards Bungie because they made one of my favorite games, Marathon. You thought I was gonna say Halo? Fuck Halo! I don't give a shit about Halo.
Halo's decent, but it wouldn't be my favorite game.
I love Halo.
At
Halo
the
is
same
one of my
time,
favorite
though, I
games.
kind of feel like
Hit me, dog.
like-
What you got?
They
Is
could have
there
also
any-
solved this by just not putting the number on screen at all.
This is
Yeah.
true. If there was nothing at all, people would have probably never found out, and no one would have ever raised a stink about it.
can't-
It's still shitty, but
is there any way that this ties into something monetarily, or
you can. I do believe you. So you level up. You get bright engrams. These things here, which you can use to get certain items and shaders. But I do believe you can buy engram, or at least currency, to get the engram. So yes, at the end of the day, this was basically
Yeah.
a way to get people to spend more money.
I
Part-
would.
part of this too,
God
Michael,
damn
is
it.
a lot, from my understanding, because Destiny is a game series that they keep adding content and it's a long time thing.
It's a game as
Yeah.
a service.
They don't want people leveling up to the cap because they don't want to raise the cap. They've designed all of the future DLC plans.
Yeah.
So this was their system on trying to slow players down so that things would still be difficult and new and exciting when they came out 6 months and a year from
Yeah,
now.
th-
but I mean, like,
Which is why they raised the XP cap when they removed the scaling.
personally, I feel it would be a different situation if you couldn't buy your way around it.
It is
Like,
shitty.
Because then it's just a harder game.
Exactly. If it was just a harder game, then all power to you. If you want to create more neckbeards, go for it. Mountain Dew
No
sales
wafers.
will be through the fucking roof.
Hey, I'll be there
Yeah.
day one buying more Mountain Dew.
Also,
Thanks so
I
much.
would-
But like, if it's a ploy, like, I'm all in support of that. If it's just to make a harder game, all jokes aside. But
It is 100% a monetary. Like,
The other thing
if it
is
seems
though.
if it seems like a plan to get them to like corral people into making microtransactions, which Destiny 2 has already been kind of under fire for, then I think I speak for a lot of us when I say fuck.
I feel
that.
like.
Well, with the
If
leveling
I'm not
too, they-
mistaken,
Go ahead.
aren't most of these things that you're buying with these engrams kind of purely aesthetic
So
anyways?
there are cosmetic shaders you can get, as well as certain armor pieces, but the armor pieces do have different stats. And
Okay, so they do.
The thing about Destiny is that the player versus player is relatively based on the gear you get. So
Yeah.
I think the more like I'm not too sure because I don't play it personally. I get it secondhand from my brothers. They love fucking Destiny. But you can use bright engrams to get better gear. Go online in PvP,
So
and
it's a
then
bit of a pay
you
to win
have
situation.
a numerical advantage
Yeah,
against
okay.
other people.
See, Michael, the thing too, in addition to the microtransactions, with what I was talking about, is like when they release new DLC, they want people to buy it because it's still a challenge. If
Yeah.
the players are too high level or even level capped right away, then they're going to release this. Oh, this is this new cool raid. Go and play it. But if it's already too easy, and because they've already decided the level system they want long term for the game, they're worried less people will buy it.
No, I get that, but the difference is like you can't buy your way around a level cap. If you can buy your way around like
Can in World of Warcraft.
if you can buy your way like excluding like purchases for DLC and expansions, if they make it difficult for you to level up and you make a microtransaction and that makes it easier, then versus like if
I think
you
it
make
creates-
if you make it difficult to level up versus you actually pay for like additional content like DLC or an expansion, and that makes it easier. I feel that makes it abundantly clear where the company's priorities lie.
Well, I think it creates an unreal expectation of gameplay. Say you're starting out and like, I'm the equivalent of level 5 in this game. The numbers are weird. I don't understand how you level in this game. I'm the equivalent of level 5. I'm gonna buy a thing that helps me level up faster. Then all of a sudden you kind of get it kind of in the back of your brain that progression in this game is easy. Like in Killer Instinct, for example, you can buy boosters with the in-game currency, or you can buy them with real money. And once you get to level 20, it takes like 10 matches to level up a character, and the matches, I mean, they're quick, but they kind of they kind of trot on. So like having a booster speeds things up to the point where like I should come back, I want to keep grinding because grinding was fun, I gotta buy another booster. It creates this unreal expectation of gameplay. Now I do agree to what you're saying, it is kind of scummy, and I think Activision, the publisher of Destiny 2, kind of thought this would kind of fly under the radar, with EA being a kind of a smoldering pit currently. Because, I mean, believe it or not, this is bad, but it's still hard to believe that there's
See,
worse microtransactions
get
out of the
What
into
do the
market.
EA
levels of
later.
Killer Instinct
Yeah.
do, though?
Also, leveling up your character in Killer Instinct gets you cosmetic items, colors, and titles for your title card. There is no in-game advantage. You're right.
See, that's the thing with Killer Instinct. You know, you're doing it for the thing. And Destiny is PvP though, so you can inherently it's pay to win.
Mm-hmm. Like that's the same thing with the Battlefront issue. Is that you were getting these people, you were getting guns that had better stats, you're getting grenades that exploded bigger through these boxes that gave you an advantage over other people. So at the end of the
There's
day,
also the issue of gambling with that.
yes, and there's
So-
that. You're taking a gamble because Hawaii and Belgium think you're gambling. Oh, kids! The words used is that Star Wars Battlefront 2 is an electronic Star Wars themed casino for your kids. I'm like, ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, I like that.
Here, let's make it academic for a second. Something that just occurred to me.
ahead.
Microtransactions are like the gentrification of video games.
Think so?
Yeah, because if you have more money and like more disposable income, you can win at this game.
I actually, you make a relatively interesting point in the world of fighting games. So in the 2010s, well, no, okay, I gotta start from the beginning. Basically, Capcom kind of started the way with having iterative fighting games every couple years or so. King of Fighters as well, to an extent, where a game comes out 2 years later, that same game comes out with a revision with more characters. In the 2010s, characters are basically rolled out maybe one every 2 months. And in the fighting game community, if you do not have all the characters, you have basically an inferior version of that game. So think of like Dragon Ball Z Fighter, or Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which is coming out. They announced there's going to be post-launch DLC, which you can buy right now before the game is even out because it comes out in February. That to me just increases the price of the fucking game because I can buy the base game, or I can buy the special edition that gets me these fucking characters. And I'm like, well, but why can't they be included in the base price? I realize they're extra stuff, but you're already working on them. Some of them are probably already done.
That's a lot of the whole day one. I don't mind DLC. I think DLC a lot of the time.
Yeah.
DLC's
You know,
important.
it might be expensive, but it takes more development time.
There've been expansions since before that even.
But when it's when it's day one DLC,
Yeah.
that's when I start to wonder. Well, if this is day one DLC, then why is like if it's year two DLC, that's totally different. But
Exactly.
If it's day one DLC, why isn't that just part of the game?
And like you get like day one patches all the time because that needs to happen. Some
Well,
games.
patches are fine.
Yeah.
Patches are fine,
patches
but,
are
like,
different.
Then you get stuff like Street Fighter Cross Tekken, where all the DLC characters were on the disc. The data for these characters was on the disc. You have to pay to unlock them.
That's
The excuse from
weird.
Capcom was like, well, if you have them downloaded, like inherently, it makes it easier to fight online, and well, that's just scummy.
Smash Bros does that as well.
Yeah, exactly. I can fight people online for game. Like, I can go online in Tekken and
You can't
play
buy
against
characters
Geese
in Smash
Howard.
Bros.
I don't have Geese Howard, but he's there.
So like in Smash Bros, because you have to have all the data to play against the characters, and online or even with amiibos, you can do it as far as I know if you have the amiibo for them.
Really?
Yeah.
So if I bought a Cloud amiibo, I would not. I actually have
you
Cloud.
can fight against him, but you don't have him.
Okay.
If you actually go to the store and buy the DLC in Smash Bros for the characters or the stages,
you reminded me. Sorry.
If you look at the file size, it's usually 2 or 3 kilobytes. It's literally just writing something to your console that says, "Oh, you own this."
James, you reminded me. I'm adding something to the docket, like rapid fire. Keep talking because
Yeah.
you just reminded me of this fucking thing, and I want to talk about it.
Cool.
If you actually look at the DLC sizes for the Smash Bros characters, they're like kilobyte text files that are basically just licenses saying that you can use this content that it forces you to download. It wasn't on the disc because it was post-launch, but like all the paid characters, there's I think 7 characters and 9 stages.
Yeah.
They're
okay.
all in the game. You just have to. You can use. I mean, I don't endorse cheating. I think you should buy them if you like the game. But I know it is possible if you use like hacks on your console to play the characters without paying, because the data is there.
The cool thing with Smash Bros is that you get that physical figurine too, which some people just want inherently.
Some of them
I
look
feel
good, some of them don't.
I feel like if it's blocked behind a paywall, and in the olden days you could have used a Game Shark to unlock it, then it's kind of a dick move.
But
Yeah.
fighting games, Michael, are unique in that, like, let's say fighting game, Super Fight Man X comes out.
I love that
It's
one.
got-
My favorite.
It's got 30 characters, but they have this huge post-launch scheme where they have 30 more characters. I don't want to buy these 30 characters. It's not going to, like, how do I play against someone online? I don't want to have to download the data every time. So you need to have all of the data there, for fighting games at least specifically.
Say you're a tournament organizer and you want to put on a Guilty Gear tournament, and all right, so the most recent version, say Guilty Gear Exord Rev is the most recent version. Then Exord Rev 2 comes out, adds Bike and an answer, and you're like, well, shit, there's 2 new characters in this fucking thing, and I don't have the money to get this upgrade. What do you do then, right? Exactly.
How would online play work if you didn't have all the characters' data there? Like for fighting games, they're kind of a unique case where you need all that content
I
there,
will
or else you're
say-
forcing people to pay to keep playing online.
Well, I will say like the Killer Instinct method is kind of okay in that the game is free and you get a free rotating character. You download all the characters, but then you just kind of pay a license to play them all. You can pay the cheaper price to unlock everything, or you can buy the characters individually. So ultimately, if you only want 3 characters, you just buy those 3 characters, and that's fine. If you want them all, you pay a slightly cheaper fee than buying them all individually, and you get them pretty all right. It's not a bad system, and hypothetically, you could earn them. Well, no, you can't earn them through just play. You have to pay money because it is a free game. So
Well, if it's a free game, that's also different.
yes, the Destiny 2 and Battlefront 2 are games that you pay $60 in America, $80 here to play.
Then it begs the question: do you start to increase the cost of games initially, or do you does every game become a subscription?
Thank you for bringing that up, because I want to shift towards this. As we discussed last week, microtransactions are basically because games are getting kind of bloated in their prices. Specifically, big AAA games like Destiny, games like Battlefront, games like Call of Duty World War II. The production of AAA is inherently large. They take hundreds of people to make these games, and they expect huge dividends that can't possibly reach these expectations, which is why they have these aggressive microtransactions. Would you pay more for a game if it didn't have any of that?
Can I say a piece on this though?
Hit it, bro.
I actually don't buy that games aren't able to make their money back at the AAA point.
They make their money back. It's just the expectations are so much greater than what they actually should be.
Just hear me out for a second though, because we're going to get into this in a moment, but just to telegraph a little bit earlier, EA, Star Wars Battlefront 2,
The bastards.
when they removed the microtransactions from the game temporarily, they assured their stockholders that that action in and of itself would not affect stock prices. So if that's the case, then they're kind of admitting, at least candidly, that
They didn't need them to begin with if it wasn't affecting the stock price.
exactly.
Well, I'll kind of shift it this way. There was a Capcom game, a major Capcom release that came out a few years ago, and they expected 6 million in sales. It did, I think, 2, and it was labeled a failure. 2 million sales is nothing to sneeze at, but because it didn't reach 6 million, it was a failure. I think it might have been a Resident Evil game. I'm not sure.
Well, and it also kind of goes into the topics of the Jimquisition by Jim Sterling, which shout out.
Never heard of him. Skinny guy, American.
Yeah, exactly. No, he's fucking great, and I love what he has to say about the game industry, because 9 out of 10 times he's absolutely right.
Yeah, but
like,
can he say it without talking about boglins? Well, sorry, go on. I'm sandbagging you. Go ahead.
Boglins.
Froglins.
Yeah, exactly. But like, the problem with a lot of the game industry is they either want to make, it's like making some money is not good enough anymore. They either want to make all of the money they can, or they'd rather take none of it. So it's like, rather than having a game with like
You don't just want to break even.
Yeah, breaking even is never the bar line. You want it to be a success. You want it to be a hit.
But
you
at
want it
the
to be
same
It's
time,
not a success necessarily, though.
yeah, but at the same time, like, breaking just a little bit over even is still a profit.
If I'm John Blue Collar over at EA and my game breaks even, that means my kids won't get a big old jet ski for Christmas because they're just getting a regular jet ski. I want that game to be big so I get the big dividends so I can buy a trailer for my jet skis. I'm John Blue Collar.
Like a trailer that the jet skis go in, or like a trailer that hooks onto the back of the jet skis to make them way more impractical but can carry stuff.
It's a semi truck that goes on water basically, and it can hold. Okay, so
Oh
it's
shit! I was thinking of snowmobiles.
But like, you look at the indie dev market, and at the same time, they don't have the same decadent budgets, but
indie game breaks even, and that's a big deal, though. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, this game was a success.
well to bring it back even more close to home. On the night of our first EP release, we sold what 20 copies of our CD. That's $200. We were selling them for $10 a pop. 20
We
CDs.
felt like we were rolling in
Yeah,
it.
20 CDs sold for $10 a pop. Holy shit, that's incredible, right?
Yeah.
So any and all sales on the indie side is huge. It's big. It's crazy.
Yeah.
1,000 sales is crazy. 100 sales is crazy. I feel the same way. People, I follow a lot of artists who have Patreons, and listen, man, a consistent 1 month pledge is way greater than a shaky $10 a month pledge. So like someone pledges $1 a month, that's $12 a year. That's not bad. Someone pledges like $10 a month, but maybe they don't keep up on it. They rely on these $1 pledges so much more than a $10 thing, because that amount of money, because they're starting up, they're small people. That $1 bill is so enticing.
And then on top of that, like, you look at how some of these AAA companies are spending their budget on being like the highest tech and having like these decadent graphic engines, whereas like you kind of start to realize at a certain point, the more you base the style of your game and the art of your game on the technology that's available at the time, the more it will show its age eventually. Like, you look at a game like Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, right?
That game still looks good today. It did not. It got an HD re-release. I think the HD re-release looks worse than the GameCube version, in my honest opinion.
And like, you look at some of the games that were released on N64 just because the art style was very much dictated by just what was available at the time, and
you got 3 triangles, make it work.
It looks old.
I will say this though, like, and this is the only praise I'm gonna give Battlefront. The look and sound of Star Wars Battlefront 2 is fucking. That looks like a Star Wars game.
Like,
the problem I've heard with the AAA game industry, right? The other thing with the modern video game industry, I guess, is that you have these people playing the games on the internet. So single player, story based, single playthrough games, they're just not viable anymore.
So
because most people, they're just if all they're interested in is the story for whatever reason, they're just gonna go on the internet and watch someone play the game. So the only way to make a game really viable for the long term is to make it a subscription, to put in microtransactions and a significant online component somehow.
I got a point. James has a point. James will go first.
So the game you're making me think of, this is actually a brand new game. It was one I was interested in. My interest went down and now it's back up again. It's the Gran Turismo series. It's a racing simulator thing. It's kind of like Forza, where it really shined. And GT Sport just came out. It's the 7th game.
Yeah.
Where the other games really shined.
I heard about Forza. It's crazy.
They were really in depth in terms of the single player modes and what you could do for all the stuff, all the car tuning, just all the stuff you could do on your own. And then, I mean, it used to be a PS1 game. So in, I think GT5 or 6 they added some online, but it was kind of on the back burner. GT7 just comes out. GT Sport just comes out, and there's no. Not only is there no single player, there's no offline play, and a lot of people were really bugged about this. Now, what ended up happening though, this game came out maybe a month ago.
They're about to.
About a week ago, the dev team comes out and they said, we were forced to put this game out early. We had delays and stuff. They told us that the multiplayer was the most important part long term. So we were working on all the single player the whole time, and it's here. It's coming out this month. Actually, it's coming out in a couple of weeks. The company they work for, I think they might be directly Sony. Maybe they're a subsidiary.
GT is like some in-house third party.
They were told that because the game was so grand, the graphics are next level. It's for PS4.
Gran Turismo,
PS4
right?
Pro specifically, because all this stuff was so next level. Their dev company at Sony told them to cut the multiplayer features and re-add them as post-launch DLC, because that was despite the fact that's what most of the fans wanted more, it was not how they were going to get the immediate money and the long-term viability.
You want the money.
This is what you were making me think of with multiplayer games where it's viable.
Honestly, though, like,
I have a point to say specifically to that, Will. Specifically about 2017, actually. You look at the games that came out in 2017 in the early year versus now. I'm gonna list 3 games from the early year: Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Nier Automata, and then Horizon Zero Dawn. These are these big single-player games that have DLC but no microtransactions.
Horizon Zero Dawn was supposed to be great, by the way.
All the games I said, apparently, like, fucking critical success, critically reviewed, fantastic games. I've played one of them.
Game of the year this year.
Yeah, and now fast forward to recent months. You get games like Shadow of Mordor, War, whatever the fucking Lord of the Rings game is, Assassin's Creed Origins, and then these Forza and then Gran Turismo games. All games that have very robust single-player games. Assassin's Creed and Shadow of War, both single-player games.
That game was incredible, apparently.
To a T, but then they have these weird aggressive microtransactions in them.
Lindsay just stepped in and said that game was incredible, apparently.
Which game?
Mordor.
Yeah, but like, so what I've heard is that Mordor, like, it has this big single-player. It's a single-player only game, but they've got loot boxes up the ass. Assassin's Creed is a single-player game, has loot boxes out the ass.
Actually, I heard a really interesting thing about Shadow of Mordor.
But the thing is, like, you look at the single-player games from the early year, DLC, no microtransactions. Single-player games now, microtransactions all over the place, and I'm thinking, like, as 2017 went on, these games were still in development. These later games,
Daniel,
like, oh, we gotta make money on these things because the single player's going away.
Was Shadow of Mordor,
I guess that's kind of weird.
Was Shadow of Mordor? It's like, the whole premise of the game is like you get to control orcs as your own army.
I played the first one. I'm not familiar with the second one, but I get the orc system.
But like, one of the orcs they put in was a tribute to
Oh, I heard about this. This is nefarious.
a designer who died while they were in production of the game. So you'd think they would just include. They created an orc based on him and named it after him because he was like someone who was a big help to their dev team, right? You'd think that would just be a nice little Easter egg, right? Mm-hmm. On Steam, do you know how you get access to that orc?
How?
DLC, $10 available on launch day.
They took this guy's soul and put him in a fucking orc, and they made you pay for it.
Isn't that not bullshit?
That's pretty messed
with
up.
a similar bullshit thing, I was just reading earlier this week about the Plants vs. Zombies franchise. You guys remember the first one that came out was pretty good, and now they've got tons of FPSs and
Yeah,
stuff.
they have like shooter games.
EA revealed, and they've been trying to keep this under the wraps for a really long time, apparently. It was revealed that after the first game, they fired the creator of the game who sold it to EA because he didn't want microtransactions in the game.
Oh, he saw
He
that
didn't want
saw the
all of
storm
this.
coming.
He wanted it to stay core and true to the fans and stuff. And when EA told him no, they fired him.
You guys want to talk about something maybe a bit more lighthearted?
Cool.
Like a Amiibo cereal.
Sticks.
I mean, some dicks could be heavy. Have you seen them?
I mean, I got lots of
Have you seen
Amiibo
mine?
opinions.
All right, so here's the headline on
Thanks for
Kotaku.com.
ignoring that.
There is an amiibo on every box of Super Mario cereal
What?
that gives you the power of machine parts. I don't know. That's a joke.
Is there a Super Mario cereal?
There is now. It's coming out in like 3 Walmarts
Not
in
in
America.
Canada.
Yeah, we don't get any of it, but
Are
it's
you
coming out.
fucking kidding
So basically,
me? I want some Super Mario cereal.
so going back on to Super Mario is
Was that kind of like a microtransaction then?
it's funny you bring that up.
Just with cereal?
Breakfast transaction.
It's funny you bring it up. Super Mario Odyssey has unlocks through Amiibo, but you can just get all the unlocks in the game if you play it long enough.
I'm actually going to
Yeah.
step in and disagree
Oh
partially.
no, disagreement.
Hold on.
No,
can I
Michael,
make
Michael,
one more
please.
joke? Macronutrient transaction.
That's pretty funny. Go on.
A lot of the Amiibo functionality is for the outfits. Like, you got the Gold Mario, gives you the Gold Mario outfit, that kind of stuff. But the ones that are, in my opinion, most useful, actually, are Peach and Bowser. So Bowser gives you coins in order to buy anything. Peach, when you scan the Peach Amiibo, you go up to, there's an item in Super Mario games that's like the double heart, where when you pick up the heart, you usually only have 3 hit points in the Mario platformers. You go up to 6.
Yeah.
Very
When
useful.
you scan the Peach Amiibo, which you can do at any time, even during boss fights, you go up to the 6 immediately. So for me, I played all the way through Odyssey. I recently beat I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a secret fight when you get to 880 moons. I had to use this Peach Amiibo to get through because it was so difficult. And in that sense, it's a bit game-breaking, but I don't know if I could beat a lot of them otherwise. And yeah.
That's an interesting take. I hadn't considered that.
Now, as far as I know, with the Mario cereal, the boxes contain the chipped Peach and Bowser amiibos. Actually.
Oh shit, for real?
Yeah. So the Bowser the cereals are only like $3 or $4, but you get the.
Hold on. There's a comment on this fucking thing. It says the Switch is portable. Oh wait, no, this is a jokey thing. I thought they were just generally not being
Just scroll
real.
up on the thing that the listeners can't see.
Okay.
More.
Oh, whoop.
Right up to the top.
Whoop.
Down.
Down.
Yeah. So it says right there that every box and amiibo unlocking gold coins and hearts. So I'm
Okay.
based on that, I'm assuming it has the same functionality as the Peach and Bowser, which to me are the most useful amiibo, and they're actually slightly game breaking.
This was a last minute docket edition. I didn't really read it, so I mean any mistakes going on, it's my fault.
So, to me though, I actually see this, and I think this is a plus because everyone knows amiibo are hard to get. Finding those Bowser and Peach ones for kids who are just getting a Switch and never had a Wii U, good luck. To me, I see this cereal and I'm like,
The cereal's gonna be
That's awesome.
rarer than the amiibos, I think. It'll be harder
well,
to get.
it's Kellogg's. It's
Here,
gonna be widespread
anyway.
cereal as far as I know.
I've heard like it'll have very limited release across the
Is it
country.
going to be available in Canada?
Nope, not for us.
Well,
we
you
don't
know,
got nothing good.
I have
hope-
seen some cereal boxes at work that have had like Super Mario Odyssey
Yes,
pictures on
Post,
it. At least.
Post has a deal for cereal boxes, but then Kellogg's has this one. I don't understand.
I hope this is widespread
figure.
though,
Kellogg's.
because to me these are the most useful amiibo, and I think that kids should have access since amiibo are way too hard to find.
If I'm going to greatly overestimate our reach with this right now, but Kellogg's, if any one of you can hear this right now, make the Super Mario cereal available up here in Canada.
See,
Yay.
Michael, what's really cool is it's like Lucky Charms, but they're berry flavored. It's almost like the fruit berries mixed.
That
Whoa.
just makes me want it more.
That sounds awesome.
That's a pretty good piece of Mario trivia there, James. I didn't know that.
Yeah, sorry to burst your bubble, but there are actually Advantage amiibos, but the cereal's one of them.
I feel like
It tastes
that's limited enough though. And, like I'm not saying Advantage. I'm saying like
Tastes like
I don't think I would ever have a use for that because I'd probably never need it because I would not play the game up to that point. But like getting all the costumes just through playing the game, I think is where I'm more at. Hi, Kaida.
The only costume that you can get with amiibo, as far as I know, that has any actual in-game purpose other than cosmetics is Dr. Mario, but you can still buy it.
I have Dr. Mario. Yeah.
There's a mission. Like you can buy all of them in game, but there's a mission where you actually need the Dr. Mario one. The other ones, I believe, are just 100% cosmetic.
I was gonna say a thing and I immediately forgot it. So anyway,
sorry.
no, it's not that. I had a point and then I lost it. Amiibos. Anyway, so that was a fun piece of Mario trivia. You guys like trivia?
Yeah,
You guys like playing trivia on your phone?
Sure.
You guys like playing HQ, the hottest app going, apparently.
Beats
so
me.
I gotta
I'm
preface
not
this.
gonna lie, I hadn't heard about this before.
Yeah, no.
I never heard of this thing either. I only heard of it through
Must be bigger in the States or something.
I heard about this entire thing through the Giant Bombcast. So basically, here's the breakdown: is that there is this trivia app for iPhone specifically. You cannot get it on Android.
Oh, that's why I didn't hear about
Called,
it.
Yeah.
called HQ, and it is a trivia app where it's a live trivia app every day. This guy comes on, asks questions, and if you win, you can get money via PayPal. So there is an actual, real
That
monetary
is
like.
the face of somebody who looks like he's gonna ask you to donate a kidney.
So what we're looking at Scott.
Donate.
Scott is the host of this trivia game. Now people are forming like a weird cult like attachment to Scott.
Yeah.
To the point where like if Scott is not the host, they say like because there's a chat, they say fuck this. If it's someone else, they say fuck this. One guy came on, he's like I'm Scott's friend. They say fuck this guy. He's not friends enough with Scott. So here's
I
the
do
scene.
not like that.
Didn't they say that in there? I think it says that somebody calls him Scott Daddy or
Yeah,
Trivia Daddy.
People want to bone Scott real good. So basically,
This is how North Korea got started.
more to the point of
Actually,
this.
not true, by the way, listeners.
More to the point of this. I gotta talk about Russ Yusupov. Russ Yusupov is one of the co-creators of Vine. He is one of the co-creators of this app HQ. And Russ Yusupov is apparently fucking insane. And Russ Yusupov doesn't know how to talk to fucking press. Because basically what happened is that the Daily Beast wanted to run a profile on Scott, the host of this trivia app. He's a local New York comedian. He does shows and everything, but he's blown up because of this app. So they sat down with Scott. They talked about him, and they were going to run this thing. They said, hey, we're going to call Yusupov. They called Yusupov. Hey, can we run this story about Scott? And Yusupov said, if you run this profile, we'll fire Scott. And all this other insane asinine stuff. I'm going to throw this in the link dump and everything, but it is truly a read to see and how insane this breakdown of this guy Yusupov is. I'm going to try and find some choice stuff. Yusupov, the CEO of HQ, called the reporter's cell phone, immediately raised his voice and said that the profile was completely unauthorized to write. You cannot write about Scott or HQ without the approval of Yusupov. And if you do run that thing, Scott will lose his job. You're putting Scott's job in jeopardy. Is that what you want? Yusupov said. Scott will lose his job. And that's just this crazy guy coming up here and telling you this shit.
What does Scott know?
Scott Yusupov versus the
A
world.
lot of trivia, I guess.
The joke is
but-
that they keep Scott in a cage and then they just get him out in front of the green screen whenever they have to do the live stream. They throw him back in the cage.
The secret.
But he apparently has a favorite salad place.
See, the secret gimmick here is that they're actually using this app to vet the hardest questions for Jeopardy to try and make
Oh my
Jeopardy harder.
god. You think that's why Yusupov said Scott's job is in jeopardy? Like he meant that literally Scott's
Yeah,
job is in
literally.
like he literally is it works for Jeopardy?
They're interviewing
He's
for
a
Alex
clone
Trebek's
of Alex
replacement.
Trebek. He is the clone of Alex Trebek.
Oh my god. What if I'm scrolling back up to this picture. Nah. No.
I mean,
he kind of looks like
Let's get Alex
Pretty
Trebek to
question,
grow a
guy.
beard.
let's get Alex Trebek to age back 50 or so years and become less handsome somehow. That guy's a silver fox, let me tell you what.
I don't know, Scott's alright.
Scott!
He's not Scott Daddy. But
Scott does look like he's trying to sell me a
I'd
used
sooner have
car.
my Alex Trebek daddy than my Scott daddy.
He's like,
Scott
hey,
Yusupov and the Seven Evil. Damn it.
Scott
Sorry,
looks like he's
cat
trying to sell me a
just got in the
timeshare.
way
He's
of
like,
it.
hey man, I got a pyramid scheme with your name on it, dog.
Scott Yusupov and the Seven Evil X game show hosts.
Anyway,
Daniel, you might want to look on the
look on the
audio levels because
Capture.
Oh.
Kaida definitely just
Oh.
knocked my mic.
the audio capture, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway,
Kaida's the owner of this house, just so you guys know.
yeah. Kaida, we pay rent to Kaida. And in return, Kaida shits on my floor. Oh, she's nuzzling up to
Getting
me. Oh,
swifty.
how you doing? Oh, she's gonna roll over on my headphones. Anyway,
She was sitting on my lap just a minute ago,
Sitting on.
and then she knocked my mic
She's
when
so
she got
fucking
up.
fat, kind of so fat.
Knocking the mic, knocking the mic.
Anyway,
She knocked the mic. And
this
the
has
mic.
been another fun week of the actual show. We'll be here, and again, I'm working on making an email, so if you want to write into it or ask us questions.
Come back next time for more. What the fuck are we calling that? Draft Day Out.
Draft
Yeah.
Day Out will return in 202017.
Then after hours, try some
2017.
Drafts
Oh,
Gone Wild.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's soon.
Yeah,
Damn.
right.
I'm hyped. I'm hyped for more Draft Day Out.
Draft Day Out is getting a sequel. Season 2 of Draft Day Out will include at least one more giraffe.
Whoa.
Yeah.
At least
The secret end boss of Draft Day
Just
alone.
at least
I just
8
remembered
more
that
feet
whole-
of giraffe neck.
I just remember that whole tongue sheathing thing we talked about earlier.
Oh my god. Like I said, did you know that tapers' dicks are longer than their bodies and they use it to scratch their own things?
Did you know that
They
echidnas
use
have
their
like
dick
5
to
dicks or
scratch their own
something?
dick.
You know,
Four-headed.
ducks
It's
have
like one, but it's four-headed.
and ducks have corkscrews and dogs have them not.
Apparently, though, the thing with the echidna penises is that they're four-headed, but they actually wear out. So they have them to rotate.
Oh, why?
Jeez.
That's so much worse than I ever could
Knuckles!
imagine.
Yeah, the reason they have four heads is not to pleasure four lady echidnas. It's because apparently biologically they evolved like actually kind of
They can
faulty
please male
ones so that they have
echidnas, I mean-
I was
backups.
gonna say, how hard they fucking that they wear out their own penis.
I don't know, but apparently,
Knuckles goes hard as fuck. Okay.
That's why they call them fuckles.
Him and Rouge.
I was gonna make a point about how
Ugh,
so
fat
you know how Tails and Sonic are friends, a fox and a hedgehog. Did you know the dark relationship between foxes and hedgehogs?
Please tell me.
Hedgehogs curl up into balls as a defense mechanism. Foxes then pee on them to unfurl them, then eat them. I'm ending this podcast now.